Right, here is the spoiler review for Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. If you haven't read this book, you can just check out the previous video. It won't spoil anything for you. Don't check the comments in this video either, because it may give you like something away, even if it's in minimal, I don't know yet. But if you have read this book, please, I would love your opinions and comments. Just don't comment anything further past the end of this book, because I've not read that and I won't be reading it for a while. I think I just actually need a reprieve, and like, yeah, it was so intense actually. Now, I wanted to go into more detail, in particular with Shannon's home life. Aside from this book and book talk or anything like that, in life, words get used so often and incorrectly, like triggered, narcissist, like those sorts of words. They get thrown around so easily. The meaning of them are super important, but the way people throw it about, it like waters it down a bit. But actually, no, these words are extremely important. I never look at trigger warnings in books, and I still won't. Even after reading this, I won't. It was good to confront something last night, because it honestly awoke something in me, and it was like, wow. But yeah, I can see why now people will check out trigger warnings, and why they should be there for other readers. Because if you're not emotionally ready for it, or even if you are, sometimes you might not be in the right mind frame at that specific moment, it can catch you, and it could probably like lower your mood massively, you know? So, Shannon's home life. Those of you that may know, some of you may not know, that before I was 8, I lived with my birth parents, and pretty much was just thrown from pillar to post, living on the streets, left outside of pubs. Yeah, there was like neglect, drugs, alcohol abuse, you name it, it was all there. Obviously, I got lucky because we went into one home, me and my brother, wasn't suitable. We then got a forever home. So I've got the most incredible mum, I've got the most incredible family, and that is the incredible family I got from 8 years old. And right up to this day and forever for the rest of my life, I owe them the whole world, because without them, I would just be nothing. A lot of people don't have that. Like, you can tell by this book, like Shannon is she's 16. Yeah, 16, and she's still living in that way, you know? So I am lucky I got out. Having read the last chapter, as well as some of the chapters prior to that last night made me so emotional, I was actually crying, and I felt sick for Shannon, because that are things that I pretty much witness on a regular basis. Like, you would watch someone being pulverised. I remember running down the stairs, and my birth mum's head was in the plasterboard, and she was dangling out the wall where this guy had beaten the living hell out of her, and then obviously went to kick our ass, basically. So those things were happening all the time. And I was reading this last night, and it just walloped me a little bit, and I was like, I felt physically sick and in pain for Shannon. I just wanted to be there and just protect her, and it is so sad. I know I really am intrigued to see where the next book picks up and see what actually happens, but I think I'm glad I don't read books back to back, because I do need a breather. It was insane. It was. I can see why there is an overuse of dialogue as well, because you do need a lot of lightness in this book to cover up with the darkness. Obviously, if you haven't been around that, and like I haven't been around certain other dark subject matters, so I can read it and not impact me in a way that someone else would be impacted, and the light fluffy bits of the book may not have been as necessarily or needed as, you know, and vice versa. But yeah, wow, I haven't read a book that actually has like knocked the wind out of me, made me reflect a little bit on what it was like growing up in and around that. But I want your opinions on Shannon's mum. So initially, throughout this book, I have a different perception, obviously, because my birth mum, I would not piss on that woman if she was on fire. I'd probably get a bottle of petrol and add some more. I just wouldn't, because I liked her at the start. I get, obviously, there's domestic abuse going on, and I get if it was just on yourself. When it comes to your kids, then I'm like, no, that's it. Like, I know you can be beaten down so much, you can allow certain stuff, but when you're reading it and living it, that's, to me, then that's it. You're just as bad as that other person. If that's what you're going to allow, and you're allowing this to happen in your own home, out with you. People may have completely other different opinions, but that's where I stand on it, and I haven't lived through it as well. So when she started allowing a little bit of this to happen to her own children, when she got a job, like she was getting loads of jobs and she was paying for Shannon's tuition for this private school, I was like, oh wow, right, she's got some really redeeming qualities. She's going to redeem herself. When I tell you at the end of this book, I want to drag those kids out and burn the parents in that house. When she ran over to the boyfriend, or whoever he is, over her child that was beaten to a pulp by him, that is new. I knew then that is it. Game over. How Joey did not just unalive them both there and then, I don't understand. Despicable. Honestly, it was despicable. I don't know where it's going to take you in the next book, but even that's, I don't think I would recover. I would never in my own personal life, but if I was Joey in that, I would not recover from that moment where she gravitated towards that person and not the child. Game over. But yeah, I mean, people are going to have lots of different opinions on this. I know she would have been ground down to a level so low, her self-esteem would have been non-existent. But the minute you can sit there and watch that happen to your children, game over. But yeah, so many dark subject moments in this book, and I think Chloe Walsh did amazing of like fluffing it up in certain places, you know. It's very impactful. I rated this 4.75. I got a feeling in a few days I'll be bumping this up to 5 because I think this will sit with me for such a long time. I am looking forward to reading the series. I don't read them back to back, and I'm glad I don't because I do need a bit of a reprieve. I think I may squeeze it in either next month or the month after, but we'll wait and see. Yeah. Well, thanks for sticking around. Comment what your thoughts are on Shannon's mum. Let me know. You know, are you similar to me? Have you got similar thoughts to me, or are you on her side in a way? I'd just be intrigued to know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series, I think, after crying last night. And I'll keep you updated with as and when I read them.